with that down and out of the way, let's now move on to our final topic of the day. Chris, what is our final topic of the day?
Final topic is from Abigail Russell. I just read about Scarlett Johansson talking about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and she said something that has a few people upset. She said, quote, "The future is female for Marvel." I've already seen people outraged over her statement. Forgive me for using common sense, but the last time I counted, there were 23 MCU movies so far, and a grand total of one of them has had a female lead. So even if the next 20 MCU movies are not in a row are female, the men would still have more leads than us. So why are people complaining? Rob, why do you think people are complaining, and do you think they're justified in complaining?
No, I don't think they're justified in complaining.
Was that a leading question?
I spent as a young geek growing up, reading comics, going to conventions, watching Star Trek endlessly. You know what one of my dreams was? Meeting the girl of my dreams, who loved comic books, who wanted to see science fiction films and comic book characters and read comics and go to movies and collect all this stuff, watch anime. That's what I wanted my whole life. And I see that if they bring more female characters into the MCU, it's going to help a young me achieve his dreams. I do not understand why people would not want more women into the MCU. First of all, there's a lot of great female characters. Captain Marvel and Black Widow and Valkyrie are not the only ones. Bring on the She-Hulk movie. Hell, I want a Dazzler movie. I mean, I want to see more women. I want to see more characters, more female characters. A Natalie Portman Thor, who doesn't want to see that? It's not like it's going to supplant Chris Hemsworth. And the fact that he didn't leave the MCU, I want him to stick around. So if Natalie Portman can carry the weight, great. She's been in the comics. I mean, Jane became Thor. We're going to get more Scarlet Witch teaming up with Doctor Strange. Bring that on, as John Schnepp would say. Bring that on, son. I want to see that. Why is anybody mad? I think when Scarlett Johansson was saying that, I think it was more of a catchphrase thing. I think she was saying the future is female because she's starring in their second female-led superheroine movie. And why wouldn't she say that? The next movie coming out is her, front and center. You know, she's got a lot wrapped up into this film, and of course she's going to say that. I hope Black Widow kicks ass. I want it to make $1 billion. I love Scarlett Johansson. Come on, son.
Yeah, I'm at a loss as to understand why anybody would have a problem with it. I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with it. You know, I often will get into these debates. People will try to debate me all the time. And they'll say, you know, oh, there's an agenda now to, I mean, look, there have been agendas in Hollywood, but mostly it's been agendas of exclusion. We're going to keep certain people out. That movies are meant for one person demographically alone. And we're seeing these agendas being torn down. And unfortunately, there are some people, not the majority of people, but there are some people that do not want those old agendas torn down. And I've just never understood. Look, if you're somebody who claims, I don't care if a role's male or female, well, then you shouldn't care that a couple of upcoming movies are going to be female. And if you do care and have a problem with it, I got to ask why you have a problem with it. Look, even if we look at the upcoming slate, right? We had 10 projects listed, right? 5 of them are still led by men. Loki is still male lead. Although we're going to be introduced to Hawkeye's daughter rising up, it's still Jeremy Renner's lead, right? We got Doctor Strange, still a male lead. We got Shang-Chi, still a male lead. We still got The Falcon and Winter Soldier, still a male lead. So everybody, you know, I know you've got that wedgie rung up real tight up your ass right now. Take a breath and loosen it up for a minute, okay? Just take a breath. And you know, the person who writes this in raises a great point. Out of the 23 MCU films we've had so far, there's only been one out of 23. That is a massive mathematical discrepancy. That's huge. So if you're not going to say, and I bring this up all the time and I've yet to hear a decent argument that refutes it. If you're not going to say that they have clearly been ignoring women getting leads and keeping them out, and there's been a clear agenda to only have male leads in their films, if you're not going to say that, which I don't say either, by the way, but if you're not going to say that about the previous 23 movies, then you can't possibly have any logical ground to stand on to suggest, oh, out of the next 10, 5 of them are going to be female-led? That's outrageous! Oh, shut the fuck up. It's not outrageous. Now, let's be clear. these female-led movies may suck. They very well could. And if they'll suck because they're bad movies. They're not going to suck because they're led by females. Just like when a male-led superhero movie sucks, it didn't suck because it had a male lead. It sucked because it sucked. And by the way, Rob, you ask, who's not thrilled about a Natalie Portman Thor? Me! By the way, did I want a Black Widow movie? No, I've always kind of had Hawkeye and Black Widow kind of on the same wavelength for me, and I've never really been interested in either a Hawkeye or Black Widow. So, by the way, I'm not sitting here jumping up and down going, I'm thrilled about all of these. I'm not. But I'm certainly not disinterested because they're women. And that's the difference. And right now, when you look at it, the next 10 films, it's going to be split evenly anyway. So what? I don't understand what the problem here is, Rob. What's
John,
the problem?
First of all, we live in a world now where we delightfully make jokes about Captain America's ass being America's ass. I, as a dude, I'm like, that is America's ass. Well, you know what I hope? I hope next year I can point to Scarlett Johansson and go, that's the Soviet Union's ass. Because she, of course, is a Soviet-trained assassin. And I hope I don't get pilloried for it. Because a year of talking about Captain America's ass, it's good. I admit it. I've got Captain America's ass on the brain. But I look forward to the day when Scarlett Johansson on her one sheet changes my mind.
Anyway, Chris, you're hearing about this news, about all kinds of stuff. Do you understand any of the logic behind people having a problem with them allowing women to have more of the lead roles?
I mean, I don't understand it, but I'm not new to it.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. As a female comic book fan, too, for years, I've been told that I probably don't know about things. It's real cute when people try to check my nerd cred. Like, that's something that you should measure anyway. Can't we all just enjoy things and teach each other stuff? That'd be fun. But the fact that people are getting up in arms, and I don't think it's a lot of people. I really think it's a very loud minority.
I agree. Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people are actually upset about this. But those who are up in arms about it, really just look at why you're upset about this. Why are you mad about this? What is intimidating or taking something away from you by giving some female supers a little slice of that pie? And, having a hoo-ha doesn't discredit you from being a superhero or liking them. So figure out your lives, guys.
Hashtag new T-shirt. Having a ho-ha does not. Yeah. And look, I'll say this too. We just did our panel at Comic-Con about after Endgame, where does the comic book genre go from here? And there's a thing in corporate America that understands this. You are either growing or you're dying. You're growing or you're dying. And if the comic book genre now wants to continue to grow, they now need to look to new audiences and new demographics that they have not cultivated really effectively or targetedly before, if you want to keep growing. And, give more of these lead characters. Give us more Blades. Give us more Scarlet Witches. Give us more of these things to grow the audience. And by the way, for people who then panic and feel threatened by that, again, I point you to the Phase 4 announcement. Half of the movies coming out are still male-led. It's not like some people are bemoaning and crying about this slippery slope that they're trying to eradicate white men. It's like, I'm sorry. I look at that and I still see it's still half of these movies are being led by men. They're going to not abandon one. This is a scenario where it doesn't have to be either or. It can be both and that's what it seems to me, at least all the evidence points towards, that's what Disney's now going for. Instead of exclusively only male-led films, we're going to do both. We're going to do male-led films, female-led films. We're going to bring in some diversity and stuff like that. And it's going to be a both and situation, not an either or. So everybody take a breath and just relax. And let's see if these movies are great. And let's see if the movies suck. Some of them are going to suck, I think. And some of them are going to be amazing. And neither one will be because they were led by male or female protagonists. All right, guys, listen.